November 12, 2025. The Caribbean sunrise was beautiful, but 12 miles off Venezuela, 3 warships faced off in tense silence. 2 Venezuelan patrol vessels, the and the, flanked the American destroyer USS, a floating fortress among smaller ships. This wasn't a battle, yet. It was a message, the result of weeks of rising diplomatic tension. Venezuela, emboldened by new allies, claimed a wider maritime zone. The US sent the two challenge it, a chess move in open water. For Venezuela, this was about sovereignty and pride. For the US, it was about upholding international law and deterring dangerous precedents. The world watched, satellites tracked, hashtags trended, pundits speculated. But on the water there was only the hum of engines and the knowledge that a single mistake could spark war. The sun rose higher, burning away the mist, revealing the hard steel of ships and the thin line between peace and conflict. The test had begun. 3 ships, 2 nations, 1 standoff. The stakes were immense, symbolic and real. The sailors on deck felt the weight of history in every breath. Out here, there was no room for error. The line between peace and war was measured in yards, not miles. The day had begun. The world held its breath. On the bridge of the USS, calm professionalism reigned. Commander Eva Rostova stood at the center, eyes sharp, coffee untouched. The radar showed the Venezuelan ships closing in, just inside the 12-mile limit. "Status report tactical," she said. "Venezuelan patrol vessels maintaining position, ma'am. No hostile emissions, matching our course." Rostova nodded. This was the expected script, a shadow play of power and restraint. Her crew worked with silent focus, helmsman steady, navigator precise, communications alert for any hails. They were diplomats in uniform, every move scrutinized, every order heavy with consequence. "Maintain course and speed," Rostova ordered. "Notify me of any change." The unspoken message: be ready for anything, provoke nothing. The pressed forward, a gray giant in calm seas, its crew hoping for peace but prepared for crisis. Every decision here would echo far beyond the Caribbean. The tension was real, but so was the discipline. This was modern deterrence, overwhelming strength, absolute restraint. The standoff continued. On the Venezuelan, the mood was electric. Pride and anxiety mingled on the cramped bridge. Capitan de Corbeta Mateo Silva watched the American destroyer, a steel leviathan dwarfing his ship. Orders from Caracas were clear. Assert sovereignty. Shadow the Americans. Don't start a war. "They continue on course, Capitan. No sign of turning," his XO reported. Silva's jaw tightened. "They think our laws mean nothing, but we will not be reckless." His crew, young and patriotic, felt the weight of the moment. Drills were one thing, this was real. "They want us to make a mistake," Silva told his crew. "We will not give them that satisfaction. We will be disciplined, we will be professional, our strength is in our resolve." The words steadied the crew. They were the underdogs, but on their own coast they felt the moral high ground. They pressed on, a determined David shadowing a placid Goliath. Every sailor knew their actions would be remembered. The world was watching, but their focus was on the American ship just ahead. The tension was palpable, but so was their purpose. They would not back down, they would not be provoked, they would hold the line. The standoff tightened. The radio crackled, official communication at last. "U.S. warship, this is Venezuelan naval vessel. You are entering Venezuelan territorial waters, alter course immediately." On the Commander Rostova responded, voice calm. "This is USS. We are operating in international waters, under international law. We will maintain course and speed." The reply was swift. "This is your final warning. Alter course, or you will be responsible for the consequences." The threat hung in the air. Classic diplomatic ambiguity. On the gyro, Silva ordered, "Bring us parallel, 500 yards off their port bow. Match speed." The patrol ship surged forward, closing the gap, a physical act of intimidation. The dance of approach that became more intimate, more dangerous. On the R, no one flinched. They'd heard such threats before. The key was to show resolve, not react. The space for error shrank with every second. The world listened, but only the sailors felt the true stakes. The maneuvering began, a language of steel and nerve. The standoff escalated, every move a test. The next step would decide everything. The ships drew closer, tension mounting. The line between message and miscalculation blurred. The distance between ships shrank to mere hundreds of yards. The pressed on, unyielding, while the held formation, a test of nerve and skill. A collision here would be a global disaster. On the Chuyalai, Silva saw the American crew, calm, watchful, their presence a weapon. His helmsman's hands were white-knuckled, holding perfect position. This was no reckless gamble, it was a calculated show of resolve. On the Bilber, Commander Rostova watched the Venezuelan ship, close enough to read its name. She recognized the professionalism and the danger. The second Venezuelan ship began a wide, fast circle, aiming to cross the S-bow. Crossing the bow, a clear provocation, a dangerous breach of etiquette. Carina is maneuvering to cross our bow, closest point 100 yards, the tactical officer announced. Rostova's mind raced through contingencies. The dance had become deadly serious. The next moments would define the day. The sliced across the S-bow, white wake cutting the blue sea. On the American bridge, tension peaked. This was the ultimate test of restraint. Rostova ordered, reduce speed to 1/3. The slowed, giving the just enough clearance. For a few heartbeats, the Venezuelan ship filled the viewport. Crews on both sides could see each other's faces. No shouts, no threats, just a profound, shared silence. In that moment, they were not enemies, just sailors caught in a dangerous game. On the mine, Probans, Chindois and Von Paman, this taunding line. He hadn't ordered the close pass. The S captain acted on his own. The Americans slowed, a subtle gesture of de-escalation, understood only by fellow sailors. Once clear, they took up position on the other side. The most dangerous moment had passed. The Venezuelans had made their boldest move. The Americans had absorbed it without flinching. The standoff was not over, but the climax had passed. Rostova exhaled. She had held the line. Silva felt a grudging respect. The American strength was in their discipline. Both sides had proven something, without a shot fired. Within the hour, the world's media spun the story. Venezuelan TV showed dramatic footage. Their patrol boat bravely cutting off the American giant, claiming a heroic defense of sovereignty. In the US, analysts praised the Navy's restraint and professionalism, framing the event as a successful freedom of navigation operation. Both publics saw victory, one of defiance, one of discipline, but for the crews, reality was more complex. On the ice, there was no celebration, just relief and the knowledge of how close disaster had come. They hadn't won a battle, they'd prevented one. Their mission was precision, not drama. On the Aya, Silva knew the truth. The American ship had never been deterred, only shadowed. His actions were political theater, necessary, but limited. He felt pride in his crew, but understood the limits of power. Both sides had played their roles in a dangerous script. The real victory was walking away without chaos. The world saw what it wanted to see. The sailors knew what really happened. The standoff faded from headlines, but the question lingered. What is power in the 21st century? Is it the size of a warship, or the restraint to avoid using it? His greatest weapon was not its missiles, but Rostova's decision to slow down. In a world where every move is broadcast, true power is often narrative control. Venezuela crafted a story of defiance. The US projected calm leadership. Both achieved political goals without firing a shot. The real battlefield was perception, not the sea. Power was winning the argument, not the fight. Rostova chose restraint, prioritizing long-term strategy over short-term dominance. But what if the maneuver had gone wrong? When does restraint become weakness? If you were on that bridge with our interiors, one and Gridurd, Skirwin, Mod, Shine, what would it have done? The line between strength and provocation is thinner than ever.